Have you ever stopped trusting someone? Not because something happened, but they simply stopped talking. Maybe it was your boss, a friend, a loved one. Nothing terrible happened. They just stopped explaining what was going on. And after a while, you started to fill in the blanks. When communication stops, the imagination takes over. And I can tell you, we start to create a story that's worse than the actual truth. It's all about how we believe trust is built. In my time as communications, I can tell you firsthand that trust is not built through saying the right thing at the right time. What if I told you that trust is not built when you had that perfect statement? And let me say that again so you can get it again. What if I told you that your silence or that perfectly crafted statement built distrust in your community? Because building trust never started with the perfect message. Your transparency did. Think about it. Think about how we've learned to communicate. We have to wait until we have all the answers, until legal approves it, until we have every drop of information that we can share. Throughout that time, we begin to think about everyone wants to hear that perfect thing. But trust isn't built in that message. You being transparent builds it. Years ago, as the public relations manager at the Birmingham Police Department in Birmingham, Alabama, I can tell you, we went through a little national attention with the incident with the band director. I'm quite sure you guys remember that. The national attention, the pressure, the cameras. Everyone was looking to us to answer what would be the most tragic incident on someone's worst day. And again, there was a desire to get it right. Our leaders, our community wanted to understand what happened. So, let's be strategic. Don't say this. Say that. Yeah, that sounds a little less harsh than what we had at first. But something happened in that waiting, and it turned my whole career upside down. Because again, building trust wasn't that perfect message. Our community just wanted to be heard. In that experience, I learned 3 valuable lessons about trust. Lesson number 1, trust is built in transparency. Being transparent is telling someone, I respect you enough to tell you exactly what I know. In my experience, people only build their trust when you're willing to actually tell them the truth. Lesson number 2, trust isn't lost in this one big incident. It's lost in the gaps. When communication stops, people don't let that conversation die. They begin to write their own story about exactly what happened. And I can tell you one experience of working in government communication of where that happens. I can distinctly remember there was a small rumor that happened at work, and it began to grow each day. And leadership ignored it. They said, well, they know it's not us. They know us. They know it isn't true. But what happens when you don't address it? During that time, when that rumor grew so big that half the department called in sick. It became known as an epidemic in law enforcement called the blue flu. Talk about when silence is there, someone begins to feel it. Lesson number 3, and the final one, and what I believe is the most important, trust can be restored when you're honest. It's only when, in my experience, when someone finally tells you the truth, you can finally start to trust in them again. I can remember in one high pressure incident that it only came to a head when we finally just laid out the truth. Not what we wanted people to believe, whether we were right or wrong, but just laying out that truth. No cookie cutter story for them to understand. Can anyone talk about or believe and know that when someone's finally transparent to you, you finally feel this relief because now you can trust them again? Even in my own doctoral research about trust and transparency in the workplace, I saw these exact lessons play out again. Through data and people I interviewed, they said the exact same thing. Transparency is what really creates that trust. And when you have that transparency, people know at the end of the day, they can count on you and depend on you for whatever. Now, with that being said, whatever it is, whether it's your workplace, a government agency like me, your nonprofit, or even your closest relationship, know that building trust takes you being transparent. Because transparency creates that trust. Trust creates that connection. That connection creates the relationships that we have. And then it creates a thriving environment for our communities. Again, trust isn't just one variable, but it's really when you finally let that guard down that you can finally find that. So, one thing I want to leave with you guys today. When you get in one of those high pressure situations, now again, it might not be in the same way I did, but don't think or don't ask, what's the perfect thing to say in this moment? Ask yourself, what's this person looking to for, and how can I let them trust me? Because again, transparency is what really created that trust, not the perfect thing that you're willing to say. Because again, transparency and trust goes hand in hand, and it's how we can make a community and organization thrive. Not because we communicated perfectly, but because we communicated honestly. Thank you.